There's a huge difference in family court laws from state to state. One of those examples is when and how to get, quote, a divorce. Most of the time, what you're really looking for when folks come in and ask us for a divorce at the Condon Law Firm, they're looking for a plan for their kids, who's going to keep the house, who's going to keep the medical insurance, who's going to pay the credit card debts. In fact, oftentimes that work is accomplished in a legal separation agreement. In South Carolina, yes, it is true that usually you need to be separated for a year before you can get a divorce. That is one of those urban myths that's true, and it is very different from many other states. Believe me, like you, I think that time should change and the law should change in South Carolina. However, most of the time what people want isn't truly a divorce, but a separation agreement. All the divorce grants you is the right to get married to somebody else. The actual critical part is the separation or settlement agreement that sets forth all the items for your children and child support and alimony, property, attorney's fees, debt, taxes, estate rights. And know that in cases where folks can make an agreement quickly, we have some who come in before they even separate, and we prepare together a separation agreement that is signed at the time of separation and will go to court and it's finalized shortly thereafter. While indeed that couple still waits the year for a divorce, they're able to resolve everything else with finality and allow them to each to move on in a common sense way, which saves you money and is much better for your mental health as you're moving forward and trying to start a new point in your life. Now, I've talked about so far about getting a divorce on the grounds of 1 year separation. There indeed are exceptions in South Carolina where you can get a shorter divorce. You can get a divorce in a shorter period of time if there is adultery, alcoholism or drug use, assault or physical violence, and abandonment. Adultery in South Carolina is an easy threshold to meet. Adultery in South Carolina simply means you have to have inclination and opportunity. Meaning, if you've gone alone with somebody of the opposite sex into their home, or if you're gay, someone of the same sex, and you go into their home and spend time alone and then are seen kissing them by a neighbor, that's enough to prove adultery, regardless of what happened behind closed doors. For alcoholism or drug abuse, is that affecting your marriage? Well, then indeed, we can file and again get a divorce like adultery in 90 days. But that is 90 days from the date we file with the court. That will often allow us to have one court hearing. You also have opportunities to address both domestic violence and abandoning the home as reasons for a shorter divorce. But keep in mind, what I would again urge you to think about is we can get you a separation agreement that resolves all issues if you and your husband or wife are prepared to get things wrapped up. We'll help you with a common sense plan to move forward and wrap things up both quickly, efficiently, and at low cost.